This is not what we're used to.
Yeah, no, come on, man, do something. It's like prodding the clown. That's all it is when Arsenal could just prod the clown.
Tipping Liverpool to stay up this year.
Thanks for explaining how the Premier League works then.
Enjoy that now.
No.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Football Times podcast with myself, RadioTimes.com sport editor Michael Potts, and I'm joined in the virtual studio by an au natural looking Jake Wilson from BBC Match of the Day magazine. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I haven't even done my hair today. It feels weird. Just
to clarify, he is wearing clothes. I realise that could be interpreted one of two ways, but the hair is not up. The hair is not up. He's there'll be no.
Yeah, it's watching those England games has taken it out of me. I feel like I've aged.
He's all done. He's finished. He's had his international break. He is ready for club duty. Are you a Wolves fan?
Just a little, yeah. I mentioned it. Or...
There we go. Nice and early. We'll be bringing you a few match previews for some of the games on TV this week. We've got our standard FPL sort of therapy session, if that's what you want to call it nowadays. And we're also going to kick off actually straight away with a little look at England. And we also are joined by a special guest. We're going to have a little interview with former Fulham striker, former Man United striker and Everton striker, Louis Saha. He will be chatting to us about the Merseyside derby on TV this weekend. But for now, let's return to Mr. Wilson. England, interesting international break. Bit of a mixed bag, to say the least. Very good result against Wales, 3-0, solid, job done. A bit of a muted performance against Belgium, but still a win, very good result. And then a 1-0 defeat to Denmark last night, which is not exactly going to send many pulses racing. A couple of red cards in that one as well. Discipline again, sort of coming to the fore. What are your thoughts on England? Where are you sitting now following this little national break?
Well, like you said, it was a mixed bag, wasn't it? I think that is quite often the case when we talk about England. There are bright lights in there. Playing the more experimental side against Wales paid dividends, just like you wanted. Last week, I remember you saying, even if we play the experimental and we lose, you don't mind. We played the experimental and we won quite convincingly. But we do need to remember that there's quite a lot of championship level players is in there. So that needs to be taken into consideration. Wales were missing a few key men, but Calvert-Lewin looked great. Lovely to see Ings on the score sheet as well. So that was really nice. But then, you come up against a little bit better opposition. And 3 points out of the two is probably what you would have expected, but the other way around. So it is quite a hard one to read.
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? I think I very much understand the frustration with Southgate and with England. I think everybody just wants, we've got such an array of attacking talent. You just kind of want to unleash them. I'm still defending Southgate, and I think I will continue to do so all the way up until the Euros, because I feel like it's not like this isn't like club management. And referring to last week as well, I think this is all homework essentially for the exam. This is revision for the exam. I think that's kind of what you've got to see the Nations League as, even though it's competitive. Apostrophes. I think this is all revision for the big exam, and I actually think Southgate is playing this sort of three at the back with your wing backs, couple of holding midfielders in there. That's three centre backs and two holding midfielders in there in what should be an attacking team. But I wonder whether he's trying this out with Germany in mind, with France in mind, with the bigger teams in mind. And obviously he did that against Belgium and beat Belgium. If that was we could very easily face Belgium in a semi-final next year. And do you want to play well or do you want to get through? And I just think you've almost got to see it as, knockout football is a totally different beast to 38-game league football. And I just, I think Southgate probably doesn't know his best team yet. I don't know his best team. You won't probably know his best team yet. I don't think anybody does, and I think that's actually a strength. I think sort of. Yeah, I'm rambling now. I've had this sort of stored up for a few days, but I just think it's good that he doesn't know his strongest team yet, because it shows that there are still options on the table, and then I do think he is playing more defensively, because that's how we will need to play. We could turn up and beat any team 4-5-0 if we want, as proven against Wales. We beat them 3-0 as an experimental team attacking talent. We can do that. Can we defend? and I think Southgate's sort of trying that out.
Yeah, I agree. I think the major frustration with the Denmark game was that we shouldn't need to defend to that level against Denmark. Their attacking options are pretty decent, but they are not the level of a Germany or a Belgium. And I think there was a lot of frustration that we didn't try and play a 4 and maybe go for a 4-3-3 and have that tactical flexibility. So when we do come up against a big opposition, we know how to play the 5. But when we need to unlock the door, which we probably did more against Denmark than Belgium, it's frustrating to see, a midfield 2 and Grealish on the bench. And I think in hindsight, which is the gift that we all get given as people talking about football, was that, well, yes, Maguire probably shouldn't have been playing. He doesn't look like he's got the confidence. He seems like he's been rattled this summer. But the lack of Grealish on the pitch, Mount in a slightly uncomfortable position, maybe the way Calvert-Lewin came on and didn't play in the centre. I think these are all decisions that in hindsight look very suspect. But I think if we can get to a place where we get to a tournament and we can play a 3 like we did against Belgium and do that, successfully, but then we also need to be able to play a 4 and go and attack teams when we need to, so we don't end up third in a group of 4 as we are in the Nations League now, because we keep drawing and fall into defeats when we shouldn't be losing.
Very fair point. Very fair point. And on that note of nobody knows the best team, we obviously thought, you know what, we're paid to do this. We're going to tell you the best team. We're going to tell you England's best 11. Obviously, this is very much a podcast. We can look back next year after, I don't know, pick some average, when Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain scores the winner in the final. We can just look back and laugh at not including him, unless you have included him. But
I've actually got him at centre back.
Pep Wilson, Pep Wilson over there.
I'm playing a 7 at the back with just Kane up top holding the ball up.
Nice, like a 1-7-1 sort of thing going on. That's 9. Yeah. Oh well. In goal, come on, here we go. Let's kick this off. I'm going 4-3-3. By the way, initially I'm going with a 4-3-3 here. Is that the same from you?
Likewise, yeah. As Southgate has said he does quite often, you want to pick players with form on their side. So I've got Nick Pope. I think I do like Pickford. He does get a lot of criticism, but he does make those mistakes that in tournament football can put you out of the tournament. I think he's a very good goalkeeper, and if he is our goalkeeper at the Euros, I'll be happy and fine with that. Because I do trust him, but I do like Pope. I do like his reach and his consistency.
Fair. This is where the bias comes in. I'm sticking with Pickford, but by a hair, by like literally a hair. And I think that hair is probably...
The Sunderland fan.
I know. I'd like... the hair is very much just seeing... I'm an optimist, and I've seen how good he can be. I've seen how good his distribution can be. I've seen how his reflexes can be. I've seen, obviously, his penalty saves, like, was massive at the World Cup. I've seen how good he can be, and I don't understand goalkeepers, how they just lose that. I don't understand how that happens. So I think I'm erring on the side of stick for now, but I'm very much not opposed if Nick Pope's in goal at the Euros or forevermore. I think I'm an optimist who'd likes to... I just like to think the next game is going to be a worldy game. He's been good for England so far, Pickford. So it's just keep whatever confidence he has left within him for now. But I think, like I say, his form for Everton has not been good enough at all, and I think he's very much on shaky ground there. So I'm very open to Pickford dropping out, but for now I'm just hanging on by a hair's width. Moving in defence, I've got Trent at right back. I've got Ben Chilwell at left back. Obviously, a little bit more defensive, being in a back four. Although I know that's what they're both used to, and they bomb forward anyway. But Trent and Chilwell with Cody and Maguire in the middle. I know. Once again,
that scares me.
Once again, I know they're not blessed with great pace in there. I think Cody. You can tell me about Cody. I'm sure he's in your team. Looks like I love a loudmouth, and just somebody who's going to boss people around a bit. Bit of no nonsense, just a good, solid, rugged defender. I like that. I rate that highly. Maguire, again, similar to Pickford. I think he has been a good player for England since coming into the squad. He is having an absolute shocker of a year, but I'm still. There's something, yeah. I still think we're not blessed with massive options here. We've got Kyle Walker as a makeshift. We've got Dyer, Gomez. Gomez is a shout, but even Gomez has not been 100% recently. I don't know who comes in for Maguire, which maybe you can enlighten me.
Well, this is it. I've joined you on the fullbacks. I think Trent and Chillers are the obvious options. There, my central defenders, I've gone different on both counts. So the Wolves fan leaving out Cody was hard, but we see him so often in the three at the back for Wolves, playing the central role with Sison Bolly either side of him. I think that works best for him. In a four, I think he'd do a very good job, but I'm not 100% convinced. With my two at the back, I've got Michael Keane. Because of how well he started at Everton this season, and the big one, the Wolves fan picking Aston Villa's Tyrone Mings as the left-sided centre-back. I know he's not proven at international level at all, but he's a left footer in that defence, and we played 5 defenders against Belgium, and not one of them had a left foot, and I think that's a very dangerous way to play. That's
a very good shout, actually. I like the Keane one. I like the Keane one, and yeah, I think he maybe needs a bit longer. I still think I'm sticking with my two for now, based on I think they've probably done it for longer. Keane was awful last year for long spells, and Everton were bad at the back. I know they've obviously got things together now, but yeah, maybe by the Euros coming around, I could see that. And Mings as well. I'm not totally sold. He's obviously had some big performances. He's a very strong boy, and the left foot is probably his biggest asset. And just there's a few times where I think people kind of want him to be almost better than he is. I don't know if that's just the way we perceive him. Again, I'd love to be proven wrong, and actually in a back three, probably perfect. Probably takes a bit more of the weight off his shoulders. I just know there's a few times last year Villa just crumbled, and he was like at the heart of it all. And I just wonder about that. But yeah, we'll see. Midfield 3. I've gone with, so people forget Jordan Henderson was our best player at the last World Cup. People forget that. People are quick to rule him out. He's won Champions Leagues. He's won everything. People are quick to say, well, he's done it for Liverpool. He's not done it for England. He's the best player for us at the World Cup. So I'm going with Henderson very much in there. And as a pro, as a character, absolutely, when we're talking about discipline issues and things, he is the absolute model pro you need in that squad. Declan Rice has been mentioned for a while, and I think if we need a bit of a holding midfielder, because I don't think Henderson is the holding midfielder. I think in my little system, I think Henderson can be your little slightly more attacking sort of player, and Rice can be a little bit more of a holder. And I've gone a bit rogue here, and I'm thinking Grealish. I'm thinking deeper Grealish. I'm thinking even if you had Henderson and Rice slightly further back and Grealish sort of drifting just ahead of them, or could drift on the left, Henderson a bit on the right. I think Grealish, I don't want to jump totally knee-jerk because he destroyed Wales, but I think he has just got that extra pizzazz. Pizzazz? Let's go with pizzazz.
Pizzazz is the word, and I've copied you completely there. I've gone Hendo and Rice slightly further back, with Rice as more of the holder, Henderson more as the tempo setter, and then Grealish further forward. I think you need those players that have got magic in their boots that provide that bit of spark, especially in tournament football. If we are going to be playing against sides that are really good and our chances are going to be limited, or sides that will sit deeper and we need to break them down. And I think Grealish has a bit of both of that if you release him centrally. I know Gareth and Frank Lampard both are very keen on playing Mason Mount. And I do like Mason Mount. I think he does a job, but I think for the magic perspective, Grealish just has the edge. He can just produce something, an assist or a shot on goal that will take us to another round. Yeah, so I'm on board with your middle for sure.
He's just got that bit of match winning quality, hasn't he? Sort of in that scrappy 0-0, that scrappy 1-1 with, I don't know, whoever you want to pick out there, Sweden next tournament, whatever. And then you think, like, who's going to be that player who just, we've not had a great day, but he's just going to step up, like sort of grab the net. This is probably my most said phrase on this podcast, but just sort of grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck. And I think Grealish is one of those players who can just pick up a game and say, you know what, have that, and then 30-yard bag it. And I just think England need that.
Definitely.
Sort of
He's got it in his locker. And he could just like win a free kick in a heartbeat. And we're so good at set pieces. So like if in the 88th minute we're struggling, Grealish runs down the pitch, wins a free kick, we swing it in, Conor Cody scores a worldie again, then, Bob's your uncle.
Absolutely. Easy as that. And then up front, I'm going with Sterling, who again has been outstanding for England over the last sort of couple of years. Harry Kane as some sort of quarterback, and Mr. Marcus Rashford on the left. All right, whichever way. I've gone with Rashford. I know. I mean, remember this is audio, Jake. The listeners can't see you. This reaction.
I'm making all the shocked faces in the world because I don't want to interrupt you, Michael, with your big call. But
I'm going with
Sterling, big tick. Kane, big tick. But Rashford over Sancho.
I'm yet to see Sancho hit top gear yet for England. I fully, I'm not one of these who like, he plays in the Bundesliga, he can't do it. Yeah, Brexit, yeah. But like, do you know what I mean? Like, I haven't seen Sancho gel with the rest of that team yet, and I really hope he does. And I think Rashford is an interesting sort of. He's not the perfect solution there. I just think Rashford has done more for me in an England shirt. I think that you can see something maybe between our teams here. I think I'm sort of trusting in people who've done it before, maybe a bit out of sorts, and I think you're going for the fresh blood. It's interesting.
This is after last week. You wanted the experimental side, and you pick in Pickford and Rashford and Hendo.
I'm saying if the Euros started tomorrow, this is how I'm lining up. Oh,
see, I've picked for the Euros starting in maybe 2021.
Well, there we go. Good to see we're on the same criteria.
That's mixed, but between our two teams, I think we'd have the perfect blend.
Yeah, perfect. And also a bit of a rogue one. I was thinking about this, a bit of a 4-2-3-1 sort of situation going on. Same back four. Henderson, Rice maybe sitting a little bit deeper. Could even have Kane almost sitting in the hole, a little bit deeper, with Sterling and then Rashford or Sancho, and then have a Calvert-Lewin or an Ings up front. Ings is superb. That the way he took his goal the other night, the way he scored, it was the Southampton goal the other week, wasn't it? It was against Spurs, I think. What technique on that! I'm interested. If they both score 20 goals this season, which I mean they're very much on course to do so, I'm very up for seeing one of them sort of lead the line, give it a shot. And again, it's not a case of. I think the problem with strikers has been who's going to replace Kane. Is anybody better than Kane? No. Start again. But I think knowing that Kane can drop deeper, I don't know. I think there's scope there. Anyway, moving on to the Premier League. The international break is coming to an end. We're going to run through a couple of games very quickly for you. Manchester City versus Arsenal, and that's on Sky Sports Premier League main event and Now TV from 5:30 on Saturday. What are you feeling with this one? Man City, I think they're a little bit flat at the moment, badly lacking Aguero. Any thoughts? Any thoughts on them?
Yeah, it's kind of a team on the up against the team maybe struggling to stay at the top, which should provide really good entertainment for us. Yes, City without Sterling and Sterling maybe, Aguero still probably, and Jesus as well. There's also talk of De Bruyne having a knock after the international break. He's a doubt on FPL, so this could be a different looking Man City side up top, which may give Arsenal opportunity to get into this game. It's going to be an interesting one. But after the international break, it's very hard to predict any games, let alone one between two sides with so much attacking quality.
I wrote down my few notes here. I just wrote the words Edin Dzeko, and I just wanted to mention him.
He's not playing.
I just really like him, and I keep coming back to this thing of City over the years. They've had Balotelli, they've had Dzeko, they've now got like sort of Jesus, who is in and out of the team. But just they've always had that very, very good backup striker, or again, it's similar to the Kane situation, isn't it? Where like just because they're not Aguero, they're not going to get into the team. But I just think somebody like that focal point for City, somebody to aim at, I think they're lacking a little bit. Sorry, I took that on off a random tangent, but I think they just need a bit of something for De Bruyne to aim for, and at the minute I just don't really see that. Arsenal, they're sort of fine. They're kind of a boring team at the minute. I think that would probably suit them down to the ground. Is that harsh? Is that fair? I think they would take that.
No, I don't think it is. I think it's because of how settled they are. This feels like the most settled they've been in quite some time with their lineup and their selection, and that kind of is less interesting for us to talk about.
Yeah.
There's a Aubameyang could have a slight knock, so if he didn't, play, or if he's not 100%, that could be massive. In their lineup, but the signs are positive. They've got a very good goalkeeper. Their defense is looking much stronger. They're learning what midfield they want to play. Thomas, what a signing! Love that. Hopefully, he comes in and is that absolute bosser that they've been wanting. And then up front, they've got so many options, haven't they? So there's not a lot to criticise, and some nice things to praise, which is always what we want, isn't it?
Very strange for Arsenal. I'm unnerved. I'm very unnerved. There was the most banter weekend of Premier League football ever, like last weekend, and Arsenal just like went under the surface and won 2-1 with no issue. And I was just like, that's disappointing. That's very disappointing.
This is not what we're used to.
Yeah, I know. Come on, man. Do something. It's like prodding the clown. That's all it is when Arsenal could just prod the clown. Well, there's the intro sorted. Moving on, we have Newcastle versus Manchester United at 8 p.m. and this is on Sky Sports Box Office. I think we'll probably talk about this. Yeah, ew. She doesn't even go here. I think I watched Mean Girls for the first time the other week. Yeah, it's great. Anyway, Sky Sports Box Office have moved into the Premier League market. All money going to clubs and not the broadcasters. Interesting move. I think we'll probably talk about that more next week. So let's stick to the football for now. Newcastle versus Manchester United. Newcastle, a bit of a weird team, really, aren't they? I really like their dealings, their transfer dealings. They're they were diabolical against Spurs and got that little rub of the green with the draw. Fans are sort of in open revolt, but they're in the top half. It's just a bit of a basket case at the minute, but it seems to be okay.
Yeah, it's very odd, isn't it? On the pitch, things are as good as maybe they've been in some time. With the new signings, Callum Wilson obviously hitting the ground running. Alan St. Maximan is a joy to watch whenever he's on the pitch. So if you're a fan of purely the football, this isn't too bad a time for Newcastle. But I know behind the scenes, still things are seen by lots of people as very much less than ideal. Maybe we'll just focus on St. Maximan and his running and his boots and his hair and his tricks and his coolness.
Man crush. I mean, St. Maximan is just... Do you know when you have that sort of rival player who you just secretly love and admire and just really want to be on your team? There was a video of him the other day on Twitter, and he belted past the entire team. There's somebody shouting in their like Geordie accent, just like, hey, pass it, pass it, pass it, pass it, and then it just like drops off when he doesn't pass it, and he absolutely just blitzes the full team and smashes it in the net. And it's just a bit like, why pass it when you can do that? Why pass it when you can just beat the whole team yourself? Just screw you guys. I really like him. My friends don't, but I do. I shouldn't like him, but I do.
Sorry, we're praising Newcastle players, Michael, but you've got to do it when they're lighting up the pitch.
When they're Alan St. Maximin, you do it. Manchester United, again, just basket case. Total basket case. But hey, Edinson Cavani could be making his Premier League debut this weekend, which should be at least fun. I mean, I don't know if it's going to work, but it's going to be quite fun, isn't it? I mean, he's going to deck somebody. I'm very up to seeing that.
Definitely. You like these FIFA transfers, don't you? Like the big names coming across wearing a different kit. You never thought you'd see it, but you are seeing it. And you want that in the Prem. Whether it'll be a success, who knows? Nobody does. But he did a lot of horse riding and ballet, and I think we spoke about that. And hopefully that will hold him in good stead for a Premier League campaign.
Indeed. And now I'm going to segue. I'm going to try and segue here. Let's do some logistics here. I'm going to move from a Manchester United striker to previewing the Merseyside derby with a former Manchester United striker who has also played for Everton. I think that worked.
I liked it. Yeah, on board.
Did that work? Cool. We're now joined by a very special guest. He's made over 100 appearances each for Fulham, Man United and Everton, on top of a few other huge clubs as well, with 85 Premier League goals along the way. It's Mr. Louis Saha. How are you doing, sir? You all right?
Very good, very good. And you?
I'm very well, thanks. Teetering on the edge of lockdown, but we're all right. We're getting used to it. We'll get straight to it. Everton, top of the Premier League, 4 wins out of 4. What have you been most impressed with about them so far, your former club?
No, I'm impressed of the consistency of the visible plan that I've seen throughout last year. I've seen improvement about the actual, the certain runs that those guys were doing, certain effort they were doing, certain skill they were doing at certain times of the game, and see that consistency the start of those 4 games gets way more organized defensively. They seems to be more in shape physically. So all those things make them in a good platform. Yes, it's only 4 games, but that good platform of confidence, having actual manager who knows about how to get that consistency over a season. It's really, I think, hopeful.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned their manager, sort of Ancelotti, coming in, sort of taking his little time to I guess, gel the players together and come up with a formula that works. But obviously that's happening now. A little bit of sort of world-class quality in the dugout has really, really affected Everton. Yeah,
I think you can see that there is no much missing, from a big squad who can win trophies. It's just, as he mentioned in an interview, if I'm not wrong, he said football is very easy or it's simple. I'm totally agree with this because, yes, defender need to defend and midfield need to pass and be confident and be a real I would say, engine for the strikers to score goals. And when you get the right combination, the right tools, the right wills to make this happen, those things can go only forward. And I don't think that if you start to stick very complicated rules and make things like you can't like proceed. It's inconsistent because one week you understand and the other you don't. You have to have a clear plan, and that's what I really like about Ancelotti and what he brings as a mentor, as a coach, but as a human being, the actual charisma that he brings on the side, and at the same time, like you can feel like you can talk to the guy. So, which is like really amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And one sort of key part of that in that midfield, they're creating for the strikers. James Rodriguez, a few goals, couple of assists. Again, a little bit more quality in the team. And Calvert-Lewin as well up front. I think the only team he hasn't scored against is Fleetwood this season, so he's scored against everybody else. As a striker, what do you like about Calvert-Lewin? What are you impressed by when you watch him?
Yeah, his movement, his energy. Sometimes you could have energy, but you don't know where to run. That was a bit of his case before. He was young, of course, inexperienced sometimes in holding his position in certain pockets to get that free space to actually operate and do the 1-2s or do the pass to open up things for his teammates. Now he's into the box in the right moments, go and use his athleticism. So it's amazing to see all this quality in one boy. What I'm sure about it is like his focus, because scoring like bounce goals, it means that whoever is facing him, he still find a solution. It's not only a planned game that he actually work out. He's got the string into his game, and which is like really important as a striker if you want to score goals consistently. I'm very impressed.
Absolutely. And obviously we're coming into this ahead of the Everton-Liverpool Merseyside derby this Saturday. You're a man who knows a thing or two about a derby game. The only player to have played in the Merseyside, Manchester, Tyne-Wear, North London, West London derbies. I guess what does it take? What does it feel like to want to play in a derby game? And what does it take to actually win a derby game? Is it just another match?
It's not. That's for sure. That's not another match. It's just like a very special moment for local boys, for anyone who love his club, and basically the most players who really identify themselves as local boys, the more chance you have to win the game, because you understand the actual magnitude and the importance of those moments for everybody. And this is the magic, because when like those players can actually relate those sensations to the fans, it's an amazing show to everybody. I think like everyone like goes. I used to remember the passion that a Team Carroll could deliver in those moments. Whatever is like tackling or scoring a goal. It was amazing to see that competitiveness with Steven Gerrard in midfield. You see that, and you just enjoy to be a football player. So yes, that's not a normal game. We want to see intensity. We want to see people very motivated and just like be very authentic about this.
Absolutely, and obviously they're coming up against Liverpool, who will be hurting. I mean that was such a crazy game, the Aston Villa 7-2 defeat. What are you expecting to see from Liverpool in this one? Are you expecting a bit of a backlash, or could they still, just be a bit wobbled, a bit nervous?
No, I do think that this squad is definitely a very experienced squad. They have like a bunch of players who went international, couldn't think about it and talk about it. So they will maybe not restart fresh, but they will restart with that same vision over and over. So I do expect, yes, some kind of like feel of like revenge, and the best opportunity for them is actually the derby side. So I do think that there is like elements of being kind of scared because yes, I could expect like even like Mane is coming back, I think. So always, you can expect a very tough game.
Yeah, absolutely. And Salah started well, obviously, even though it was a defeat at Aston Villa. Salah still getting on the score sheet. It's just not easy to stop, really, is it? The likes of Salah and players like that. from an attacking point of view, I know obviously Firmino has sort of come under maybe a little bit of criticism recently. Sort of, he's not the traditional striker. What do you make of that front three? How they all work together? Are you just spellbound, sort of watching them?
You mean like Liverpool guys?
Yes, the Liverpool front three. Yeah.
I think that it's like, as you mentioned, not like the typical ones, but they're very complementary. I would think that still for me the most important player was playing against Aston Villa is Mane for me. When you have like Mane on form, he unlocks situation for some reason more than anyone. I do think that those players understand each other really well, and you have this midfield complementary. It's just a great team because they can press from the front and recover the ball very high on the field, repossess the ball, and give it back to those guys who are magic with their finishing and their choices. Yeah, they may have like 10 choices to take. They only take the 2 or 3 who has the better ratio to create a chance. Some players who can go left, right, and do a lot of things. There is no end product. Those guys get the end product pretty much all the time.
Absolutely. And do you have a prediction for this one? A very quick prediction.
I do think that it's going to be a disappointing game for anyone who wants goals. It will be a 1-1 maybe.
Yeah. Fair play. Nice one. Love it. And thank you very much for joining us, Louis. Really appreciate it. Love your time, and a pleasure to hear from you. And you can catch Everton versus Liverpool live on BT Sport 1 this Saturday. It's a 12:30 kickoff, and it should be a bit of a firecracker. Excellent stuff. And yes, I'm praising my own interview there. What can I say? Liverpool will be very angry boys this week, and Everton scoring for fun. I don't know about you, but I'm in for that. I'm well up for that.
Definitely. It's going to be tasty.
Very tasty clash indeed. Who would have thought Merseyside? I actually had this thought the other day, by the way. Imagine by the time Liverpool get to parade their Premier League trophy, I mean, in this hypothetical world where, Everton are actually like amazing once again, imagine Liverpool finally get to parade their Premier League trophy next year in April or whatever, after Everton have already won the Premier League. I'm just putting it out there.
That would be the sweetest irony, wouldn't it?
Imagine your rivals winning the Premier League title and still being able to trump them. That is just... I mean, I'm a fan of neither. I'm very much a neutral in this, but the drama. Anyway, moving very, very swiftly on. We're just going to run through our therapy session for Fantasy Premier League. I'm doing a draft as well, which is going equally horribly. I've got on the waivers, and I think I'm going to be picking up Ollie Watkins this week, who had gone unclaimed, which is quite nice. Ollie Watkins in for Jay Rodriguez, which is a little move. As for my actual team, Son and Rodriguez have come flying back into the team. I'm also looking at Nelson Semedo. I think I mentioned him last week. I'm interested in the boy Nelson. Came close to scoring before the break, and if any team's going to keep clean sheets. I mean, I know you haven't had the best of luck so far this year, but I feel like Wolves are a fairly reliable source of clean sheets compared to most. Few and far between across the whole league, but I'm backing them slightly.
Yeah, Wolves are one of those teams that haven't really got the agenda. They haven't really seen the memo that says every Premier League game needs to be 8-4.
Yeah.
We're a lot lower on the score sheet and conceding. So Tomato might not be a bad shout, especially if he settles. He's been good, and he's been less than brilliant defensively for us so far. So he's definitely an interesting one to look out for. I'm similar to you. I've axed KDB because I can't trust City at the minute, and I've brought in Son. I've bitten the bullet. You have to have a Spurs player in with their run of fixtures, and he's so much cheaper than KDB. I've got £2.5 million to play with next week's transfer. So I think that's a smart move.
All eyes for me as well on Chelsea's returnees. So we have Christian Pulisic, who I I made the bold call at the start of the season to say he will be right up there with Mane and Salah when we look back at total points across the whole season. It all kind of depends on this injury, whether he's actually fully recovered, whether he's still, if he's going to be right up to speed straight away. But I just think he is such a talent. Like, could be as good as anybody in the league. Genuinely think he's that good when I've watched him, and I've watched him a few times. The acceleration, I've never seen acceleration quite the same sometimes. He can burst away from a player, and he's just got all the tools to terrify defenders. And I think those players they're worth the weight in gold. Just somebody who can be very unpredictable on the ball. And obviously Ziyech coming back. We haven't really seen Ziyech at all in the Premier League. And so yeah, very much ones to watch around the sort of 8.5 million mark, especially with, like I say, KDB not quite turning it up. Fernandes, a bit of conflict with Man United there. I think Pulisic and Ziyech actually two to keep an eye on. Maybe not just yet, but within the next 2 or 3 weeks, I think I'll be certainly looking to shuffle Pulisic in there for somebody. Thank you very much, Mr. Wilson. What is in BBC Match of the Day magazine this week?
We've got the second part of our team tabs. So if you bought the mag last 2 weeks, well, we've got the league ladders. This completes the set. It's amazing. You can do all the teams on there, perfect for your kids or your nostalgic adults, just like us.
Yeah. What kids?
Yeah,
basically. How old are you? I don't even know. I can't put an age on you.
I think I'm the same age as you. I'm 26.
Okay, let's go with that. Okay, nice one.
Yeah.
Anyway, and that is all from us two 41-year-olds. And I would and join us next week. Join us next week for the next Football Times. I've lost my train of thought. Join us next week for the next Football Times podcast. In the meantime, you can come to RadioTimes/sport for all of your latest sporting previews. We've got a lot of Premier League stuff coming up. And we're branching into comment pieces. Come and have a look at my rambles, my rants, my nonsensical opinions, if that's what you are interested in and want to kill some time on, I don't know, a commute or whatever it is. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Take care.